Now, in true handbag mom fashion, I don't think any of my handbags are ugly. They are all special and beautiful in their own way. I mean, I wouldn't spend money on a bag otherwise, right? However, objectively speaking, there are definitely bags that I have bought for their function rather than their form. And while I can't say I necessarily feel elevated when I use these bags, they just, bless their hearts, they try so hard to earn their place in my collection and to avoid the chopping block. I mean, ideally, you want to get you a bag that can do it all, right? That has both form and function. But in today's video, I want to pay homage. Homage? I want to recognize 5 of what I would classify as the least glamorous bags currently in my collection that, as much as I hate to admit it, they are just simply perfect for my unglamorous life. If you are curious to see what they are from least to most expensive, then please keep watching and stay until the end, where instead of recommending less expensive non-designer dupes, because we honestly can't get less expensive than what I'm about to show, we are going to pull an Uno reverse card instead and talk about the more expensive designer options for each of these bags, if you want to bring some of that glam and elevation back. Now, before I start, I just want to paint you a realistic picture of my life. I promise this is going to go quick because I don't have anywhere close to a TikTokable or Instagrammable life. Hence, you won't find me on either of those platforms. I work full-time as a business professor in a state university. I live in Middle America, in a college town to be exact. And if you are familiar with what college towns are like, you'll know that they are small, the population is transitory and seasonal, meaning we have a lot of young people below the age of 25 passing through and living here temporarily. And seasonally, the town does go dead during the summer months. Let's see, we have limited entertainment such as shopping, dining, etc. Like Texas Roadhouse is our fancy steakhouse. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who don't know of or don't have a Texas Roadhouse in your area, it's a restaurant where you eat peanuts and throw their shells on the ground while waiting on your steak meal. Are you getting the picture yet? Like, what fancy evening bag would you take to an establishment like that? Actually, that's not rhetorical. Let me know down in the comments. I'm truly curious. So that being said, my husband and I, we actually don't eat out. I can count on one hand how many times we've eaten out for dinner all last year if we are not on vacation and we're here in town. Now, moving on, let's say if I wanted to go to a place with designer brand shopping, I would have to drive at least 5 hours, possibly more, which, not gonna lie, I've definitely done that before. And here's the cherry on top. On a weekly basis, I leave my house only on 3 occasions. One, I go to work, so I go to campus about twice a week. That's when I use my work bags. 2, I go to the gym about 5 times a week, and I have one gym bag that I've been using for going on at least a decade. And 3, I go to the grocery store once a week. And I hate to admit it, that's when the rest of my bag collection is up. That's when they get to leave the house. That's it. I kid you not. Now, does this sound like a life that is fitting for a Chanel Classic Flap or a Birkin 25? Like, can you imagine taking a top handle, handheld only Birkin 25 on a grocery run? Like the logistics of what it means to do a proper week's worth of groceries, pushing a grocery cart, going through a self-checkout lane, you're loading your grocery items on the belt, you're scanning them, you're paying for them, and then loading them into your car after. I mean, it would be a logistics nightmare. And most people would look at me and think that's dumb, not cute. Especially if they didn't know if it was a Birkin 25. Heck, they might think it's even dumber if they did know it was a Birkin 25. Now, we'll get back to that later, but for now, let's just see the bags that actually fit this stunner of a lifestyle of mine. So first up, of no surprise, is the viral Uniqlo round shoulder bag. I have mine in the bone color. This is not only the least expensive bag in my collection by far. I think these are just shy of $20 in the US, so they are very inexpensive. But however, they can be hard to get a hold of. Now, my mom picked this up for me in the beginning of summer 2023, and she bought this somewhere in Asia for about $13 US, I believe, just based on the conversion rate. And I do have a video on this bag specifically where I talk about what fits, how I style her, etc. And I'll link it down below. And I do have another video where I talk about this being an absolute workhorse of a bag after using her all summer on a daily basis. So by far my most used bag of 2023. And unless something changes with my lifestyle, I have a feeling she's gonna go 2 for 2 in 2024. She's just too easy to reach for. And I think what makes her so special is that this truly is a one-size-fits-all type bag, as in it's not gonna feel too small if you're someone who likes to pack your entire life with you every time you leave the house. And at the same time, it's not going to feel too big if all you have in there is the last care you have left to give, like just because of the way it's designed and the material of the bag. Now, this is also why I don't reach for any of my medium-sized bags like my Her bag when I'm here around town just running around, because it just feels silly to have a Her bag and the only things you have in it are your wallet, your keys, and your phone. So if you can get your hands on one of these Uniqlo bags, I believe they also now come in more colors this year, which is awesome. I mean, I would highly recommend this bag. I think it's worth every penny, all 2,000 of them, right? And also, for being a light colored nylon bag, she's held up amazingly. But note though, it is not recommended to machine wash these. So if I ever do get like a big stain on her, well, we'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there, and I'll just keep you posted. The second bag was also somewhat of a viral bag, and it is the Lululemon Everywhere Belt Bag. Now, I bought this back in 2022 for $38. Surprisingly, it's been about 2 years, and these bags are now still $38 in 2024. However, have they gotten by without raising their prices 10% annually? Now, I see this bag everywhere where I live, but I have surprisingly yet to see someone with a Uniqlo bag. So I will say this is much more mainstream and recognizable just for where I live compared to the Uniqlo bag. I reach for both of them equally depending on if I'm in a white bag or a black bag mood. This bag also packs a punch and can fit a deceptive amount of stuff. Now, unlike the Uniqlo bag, this one does have a couple of internal pockets for organization, which I do think this needs just because the zippers are pretty generous and they come down the side quite a bit. So the pockets do help to prevent smaller items just from unnecessarily falling out, which isn't a problem you're going to run into with a Uniqlo bag. Now, overall, I think this is such a low-key functional bag. Just to keep you posted on the wear and tear, I have had this for about 2 years now, and I'm finally starting to see some wear on the hardware. Not so much the zippers, but the actual logo. I don't know if you can actually see it on camera that well. But it's what you would expect with coated metal, which is why, as much as I like the concept of a so black bag, I just can't bring myself to pay designer prices for them, knowing that the hardware is going to peel or scuff and that there's no way around it. But yes, the Lululemon Viral Belt Bag is another unglamorous bag that is just perfect for my unglamorous life. I especially like to take this with me to the gym and just stuff it in my gym bag, especially if I need to make a quick errand stop somewhere after. And again, all I need are my phone, wallet, keys on me. Now this third bag, let me cover up where I think her ears would be if she had any, because she doesn't need to hear any of this. So this is one that I've tried to get rid of several times, and each time she's survived the culling because she is worth objectively absolutely nothing. So I bought this camera bag for about $100 from the Coach outlet. I think it's been at least 4 years, if not longer. And for a long time, she just sat in my closet. This was one of those bags that I picked up because I felt like I needed to check the box of having a camera bag silhouette in my collection. And then last fall, when I realized I either need to donate her or just start using her, she started to be my go-to grocery shopping bag, and we just fell into a really good rhythm. Now I feel bad that I've ignored her for all of these years because she's functionally perfect for my lifestyle. And while I'm still personally not a huge fan of the camera bag design, I can see why so many people like it. And like, Coach is a fancy bag for where I live, okay? So this bag is more likely to turn heads at the Walmart than any of my Hermes bags. My thing is, while she fits everything I need for running around town, she does fit less than the Uniqlo and Lululemon bags, which is why she's only good for around town, and she's not something I can take with me for travel, which is a shame. But hey, I'm just glad she's gotten her second win. Not like she really had a first win, but I guess I'm glad that she's finally getting live out her life's purpose. All right, the next bag is my Longchamp Le Foulonne small crossbody. Now, I always bring this bag up if anyone is interested in the Hermes Evelyn TPM, but maybe find it too expensive for what it is. Now, obviously, if you want the Evelyn because it's still the least expensive full leather bag that you can get from Hermes, then by all means, just get the Evelyn bag because this ain't gonna scratch your itch. But if you are wanting just a well-made leather bag of that style, then I think this is a fantastic option. In fact, I think it's better than the Evelyn because it does have a zipper top closure. It is canvas lined on the inside, unlike the raw leather lining of the Evelyn. It has non-removable but adjustable leather straps, which I think looks a lot classier than the Evelyn bag with its canvas straps. Now, this bag currently retails for $365, which is a little pricey by Longchamp standards because it is a leather bag, but I personally am a huge fan of Longchamp leather bags. Again, this bag packs a punch. It's super low-key. All it has is the DeBoss Longchamp name on the leather. It's low fuss, it's durable. I can't say anything bad about this bag, besides the fact that, let's be honest, it looks a little plain. It really does. I mean, the Uniqlo and the Lululemon bag at least have some level of social capital going on for them. So even if they're not glamorous, they are still considered viral bags, you know? But this Longchamp bag, this is about as unglamorous and under the radar as it gets. Now, last but not least, I would be remiss not to mention my Prada nylon pouch. This little trooper is for when I feel like pulling out the big little guns around town. Now, I haven't used this for the past couple of months because we've had full-on winter weather, and this is a shoulder bag for me, and I typically do prefer crossbody bags during the winter. But yes, my Prada nylon pouch with my little aftermarket metal chain strap is my other go-to everyday bag. I mean, I guess I could buy a longer crossbody chain for it. I just can't be bothered to. But I would say of all the ones on my list so far, you can say this is definitely the most elevated or glamorous, if nothing because it is Prada, and if nothing because of its price tag. This is like the only true designer branded bag on the list, even though this one is made of nylon and technically it's a pouch, not a bag. But this is definitely the priciest on the list as well. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it. Definitely more than the Longchamp, but less than $1,000. Now, in full disclosure, this bag fits the least out of all the bags. So my husband is on his own when I'm using her. I can maybe fit like his wallet in here with mine, as long as I'm holding my phone in my hands. But I don't know, would you consider this a fancy everyday bag? Let me know down in the comments below. But yes, this is about as glamorous as it gets for me on my unglamorous everyday bag list. I know there are so many people who argue that you shouldn't save your fancy stuff for fancy occasions and you shouldn't be afraid to just use your really nice, really expensive handbags to go grocery shopping, to run errands. But personally, no, this is just for me, but I do feel like you have to draw the line somewhere, you know, like we really don't have any sketchy neighborhoods or places where we live, but if there were, I don't think it's silly to not use certain bags depending on where you're going. I don't think it's silly to take a non-designer bag when you're traveling to somewhere new. Also, no offense to my in-laws, for instance, but I'm not wearing my designer sneakers when I visit them. Why? It's not because I'm self-conscious, but it's because they live on a farm. I don't find the need to go out of my way to ruin my designer sneakers, you know? But at the same time, I get that argument. Why have these items if you're going to be too afraid to use them? Or if, like me, you think your life is too simple to use them? Or if, like me again, maybe you are just a little too poor to use them like they are meant to be used. Now, the last one is the type of comment aspirational luxury consumers usually get bombarded with. And you know what? I don't have the answers for you. All I know is that I like bags even if I have nowhere I feel comfortable taking them to. Finally, if you find any of these bags too unglamorous for your taste, or you need help spending more of your hard-earned money in 2024, let's talk about more expensive alternatives to these bags. So for instance, instead of the $20 Uniqlo bag, you can spend 100 times the amount and get the Rose Slouchy Banana bag for $2,000. Instead of the $40 Lululemon belt bag, you can almost spend a little over 100 times that amount to get the Hermes In the Loop belt bag for $4,500. Actually, that's the 2023 prices. If anyone knows what the new prices are, let me know down below. Instead of the Coach camera bag, I mean, heck, every major fashion house has a camera bag. Louis Vuitton, Gucci, YSL, Chanel's actual new runway camera bag for Lord knows how much, just pick one. Instead of the Le Foulonne small crossbody, no surprise, you can get the Hermes Evelyn TPM. Again, this bag broke the $2,000 mark in 2023, and I don't know what these currently go for, so let me know if you know. And last, instead of the Prada nylon pouch, you know what? The Prada nylon pouch is a classic on its own, so I'll leave this one as is. Or heck, get yourself one of the new Louis Vuitton pochette accessoires if you have money to burn. Or get the Laura Piana vanity thing if the price of the pochette accessoire just isn't ludicrous enough for you. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what are some of your favorite unglamorous everyday bags. So until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you again soon.